topic is conflict management, crucial point as well as a sector that is very relevant for us in all sectors. P3, meaning project as well as program, and finally the portfolio. So let's focus on the content. We just cannot avoid conflicts, they're part of the things, right? So basically, it's about the clashes between what needs to be done, how it will be done, and who will do it. Questions are simple, but the challenges involved are very, very difficult because not everyone will agree. What shall we do? Conflict is not a bad thing. It opens up solutions, simply. Conflicts could be healthy. It's a necessary aspect of any profession at any level in the industry. Just a case of learning how to manage it. Yeah, of course, the negative conflict is there. You may have problems with the values, clashes, right? Egos, like here, feel insecurities, emotional issues, plenty of it. We do have an impact on how we handle things. What some other organizations do to prevent organizations set a lot of rules, which may be good, but it may have a lot of negatives as well. For example, take the private sector or the public sector especially, so many rules are there. Take the military. For everything, every action, every part and piece of it, there are do's and don'ts, and you have to follow it, and if you do, kind of break it, you're out of it. So there's no room for negotiation, no room for maneuver like. That might minimize the conflicts, but that could result in some other issues. So just cannot expect that the rules to be the only solution for conflicts. Just a case of identifying the conflicts as early as possible. Conflicts just don't spurt out of nowhere. There's always a development. Just a quality that we expect from a manager to identify the first signs and take action. Signs are always there whenever the conflict begins. Passive resistance, or people kind of sidelining, or people kind of getting into groups. Slow breakdown in the communications. So good manager, being good leader, should be identifying these changes in attitude in the team. These discrete signs which come up in the first without coming into the open hostilities should be addressed by a good manager. And the effect of it is, if you let it develop, if you let it improve into the levels that are beyond control, let it go out of hand, then yes, it could have an impact on the team harmony in the long term as well. Yes, this could also happen. If you take a look at the vehicles here, right? The gridlock, the infamous gridlock, there's no way out. Everyone is passive here, just waiting out until the other one agrees. But the result is just impossible, mobility in any direction. It could happen in the conflict. But the purpose of this lesson is actually, to identify the way out of these conflicts. There are three key. Basically, I'll be focusing on two, but third one is also very relevant. Sort of policies on conflict. And one is Blake and Moulton, the other one is Thomas Clayman and Pruitt, which is very much similar to Thomas Clayman. This is Blake and Moulton. It's actually a test. The manager or the leader is given a test with loads of questions to identify exactly what sort of a leadership he possesses within him. You see, the country club personality, you'll be finding it out impoverished, or authority, or expecting obedience, or the team leader, or someone in the middle of the road person. So is he more for the concerns of the people? If that's the case, I should be a team leader or country club. If he's more like concerned for the task, so the authority obedience comes. So the middle of the road person, has balance of all that. kind of a test. So based on the test score only, we would be able to identify the characteristic of this particular human manager. So based on that, we could have the assessment for the person. It may happen at the beginning of a training session, or maybe at any time during an appraisal, to find out what exactly is his mindset. This marking could be done by he himself, or this marking could be done by an HR or an internal audit to identify what exactly are the leadership characteristics of the person. These are the issues. Impoverished management means here, right, at the very start. Low concern for people, low concern for production. Yeah, he's mostly laissez-faire. He just allow the problems to kind of be there. He would not be interfering. Sometimes it could be helping. Barging into all the problems may not be a good idea. Trying to settle all the conflicts may not be a good idea. Country club management, not like here. We don't have high concern for the people, low concern for production. Yeah, here he'll be more willing to listen to the people, more kind of interacting with the people and give them chance to make the decisions, come up with ideas. Task management, take a look at here. It's more authority. Is more into the production element, autocratic, right? More for work or be punished kind of a personality. You may see that in normally the government sector, task management. Sometimes a high-end industries also you may have, and the team management. That's the middle of the round thing. You work, you concern, you have the concern for the industry, you have the concern for the people. So it's 50-50. A good one, but it's hard to come up with. And in the middle of the road, yeah, best of it. He take all factors into consideration and come up with a decision that is suitable for all situations. Now, what are the disadvantages of this particular, Blake and Moulton model? Take a look. It's too simplistic. You can't actually judge people in this manner. The focus is on the leadership only, and that's not exactly a good idea, because the environment where there's a lot of changes happen, you have to consider the changes in the environment as well. Just focusing the leader and expecting the leader to be one particular type all the time is not exactly a good idea to expect. Such as the experience, the position of the organization, right, the culture of the organization, they also are factors to be taken, but this one here is thoroughly focused on the leader, irrespective of the environmental or the changes. Take the macro factor changes. So that's a problem in the Blake and model. To the next one. Click on this Thomas Skill, rather popular one. So here we have a couple of characteristics: the cooperativeness, how cooperative are you to work with the people, and then how assertive you are. Although somewhat similar to the Blake and Moulton, there are some differences there. Competing, you tend to be very assertive, you get what you wanted. Avoiding, all right, you just allow the people to handle the problem, and you don't want to barge in and try to be the solution provider all the time. Accommodating, willing to listen, willing to be cooperative, willing to work with the team, and collaborating. You sort of would be ready to come, to a solution that is assertive as well as cooperative. And of course, middle of the road, coming with the consensus. Of course, compromising, collaborating will take a lot of time. Accommodating may take a lot of time. Competing will bring solutions fast. Avoiding, when you don't go for a solution, you just ignore the problem. Take a look at it. Again, right, it's up to either HR or you yourself to assess as to who you are. Based on the experiences, based on the scenarios that you faced, right? It's up to us to determine what sort of a leadership quality that I possess. Is competition, collaboration, or the middle of the road, compromise, or the avoidance. It's not a bad quality avoidance. barging into all the problems, interfering into everything and trying to control everything is not exactly the good area for leadership. Nor would it be very much competitive way where you want to be the boss in everything. For that matter, accommodation will also have problems. So collaboration will take a lot of time. Compromise not always easy to come up. So none of them are a perfect solution. That's a key thing. Offices are very dynamic. Lots of unexpected realities could occur at any given moment. People are different. Their cultures, the values, the challenges offices make, or workplaces make are different. So it's up to the manager to be ready for it. Now take a look at it. Again, Thomas Kelman. Yeah, we do say compromising is the most useful approach. That's hard to get. That means 50-50. Collaborating would take long negotiation skills. Not all of us have it, and sometimes the other party may not be willing. Sometimes accommodating is easy, but if the other party is willing to be very cooperative and willing to be positively involved in this, avoiding the problems, yeah, if the problem is not something that has an impact on the industry for the performance of it, right, then might as well ignore it. Competing, setting your own rules, right, being assertive, being very demanding and getting the work done no matter what, whatever the other party says. Military style works sometimes. So we call it the dual concern. Pruitt as well as Thomas Kilman on his concern as a dual concern. So this one gives more description of each and every one. It's up to the manager, it's up to the human leader to come up with a solution depending on the scenario, based on the challenges he faces. In different scenarios, you cannot expect the leader to be the same kind of solution provider at every scenario. The person who uses force once might be avoiding something later. He could be using compromise in another problem. Being the same personality, you just do not have to be the same person for everything. So that's a difference between the Thomas Kilman one. You just could be different in different scenarios. The ideal purpose should be, yes, you cannot ignore the concerns for others, the staff, the employees, people in the project, but you cannot ignore your own key duties. So you have to create some kind of a balance, but remember, reaching a compromise is not always a solution. Even this has negatives. Yeah, people may retaliate when you go for very assertive rule. Sometimes people who are adamant and stubborn, it may not be easy to collaborate with them or accommodate them. And in a high power culture, right, where one person has a large amount of power left in him, he could utilize this model to assert himself continuously. That could result in negative issues, and this might take time to resolve. So no system is perfect. There's no hard and fast rule on conflict resolution or conflict management. It's a complete, a jungle out there. It's up to us to come up with the solution, depending on our own experiences. So, just give a couple of examples. Take a look at this. This is Instagram, invented in 2000, created in 2000. You can see the logo changes. Then what happened? Yeah, by 2011, 12, actually 13 it happened, Facebook acquired Instagram. So it resulted in a kind of a connection between two very contrasting personalities. One is Kevin Systrom, the other one, yeah, you know him, Mark Zuckerberg. So both logos or the brands would benefit from each other. Instagram would definitely benefit from the numbers that Facebook has already got in its bag. Facebook would be definitely benefiting from this unique photo sharing quality that Instagram has had at the time. I think other issues. So, what just happened in 2012, 30 million. Yeah, at that time, Instagram had only just two experience with just 13 employees. Instagram was more into art, aesthetics, culture, that sort of a thing. They valued the value of the quality of it. But Facebook was more into the number. They were dark data crunching, technically, right? Data mining. And just getting, rather than quality to the people, they were interested in finding out what people wanted and just give them more of it. So there were definitely clash of cultures between Instagram and Facebook. Though they were incorporating, so they were having sort of a marriage at the time. King System was part and parcel of the Facebook team initially. I mean, when the merger took place, or takeover took place. Initially, Facebook didn't want to bother Instagram, though they worked together. They allowed Instagram to just go on their own. But as time went by 2017, 16, 17, 18, Facebook was pushing for more advertisements, more numbers, rather than just the aesthetics. Result, System left. Conflict. A conflict which could not be resolved. Both the founders of Instagram left their marriage with Facebook. Thereafter, it's Facebook that fully controls Instagram, which is a takeover. There's no particular formula that would be suiting addressing conflicts. You have to think of the cultures, positions, and you might need mediation. Personalities don't matter. Take a look at what happened in the case of Facebook and Instagram. They would have had the best of intention to work together, share things together. Facebook made a huge gamble buying a very young app at that kind of a high price. So did Instagram. They were in the art end of the industry, having a relationship, developing, a merger with one in the deep end of the business industry. It was bound to fail, and it did. But they had the intention to make it work, and it didn't work. Clash of cultures, positions, the personalities had an impact. Mediators are needed. Not always that it will be possible to handle our problems by ourselves. So the skill of a mediator is very, very essential. He should know the thing, he should be aware of how to handle it, and more often than not, the manager would have to play the role of the mediator whenever there's a clash between two personalities, two departments, two sections within the same company. So the mediator role is something that everyone who's a manager has to be having. Crucial. You just got to know what's needed and how to come up with things. Let's get into the conflict management in a project. Yeah, the project manager, yes, he would be supervised by the program managers, as well as the company. But some of the conflicts, or most of the conflicts that happens inside the project, is up to him to handle it. He should know the scope, and he should always keep tab on the time and the cost and the risks in all, because ignorance of those three things, or the four things, scope, time, cost, risks, could make the project become a failure. Project manager shall never allow that to happen. How about program, the large one. Inside the program, there are multiple projects. Again, the program managers, since there's higher uncertainty involving scope of a project, program, there's a higher risk involved in managing a program. Because unlike a rigid atmosphere in a project, a program may have, being the larger one, might have rather loose ends. So conflicts may be brewing for a while without getting noticed. So it's up to the program managers to be very, very alert to the changes happening within the team or within the situations. So look at here, Apico, Malibu, family company, both are, right? No longer they are, but Malibu is still a family company. Apico used to be a family company. Not anymore. Malibu is still a family company, but both of these companies suffered due to their inability to identify the challenges rather very early. Apico was taken over by other stakeholders from the family. Malibu lost out the dominance due to their inability to identify and find a viable solution to an industrial issue. Was right by employees. So, inability or failure or weaknesses in handling conflicts at the right time could result in permanent damage. Let's hope this company, especially Malibu, would survive. Apico is doing good, but the family that created Apico, Richard Perry's company, has much less control of Apico at the moment. Foxconn, the defeat device issue. The story, right? Into the diesel-powered cars, all of them sold in America by Foxconn had a defeat device, a tiny software embedded into every car to show false reading at an emission testing facility. That's technically illegal and criminal. How could that happen in a top-end motor vehicle company like Foxconn, having the highest level of state-of-the-art engineering, skills, everything? Now, this issue would hurt the image of Foxconn for decades. And there will be legal issues that Foxconn will be facing for the foreseeable future. Already more than $20 billion of fines have been paid by the Foxconn. Actually, the level of illegality, exactly where it happened, is still a mystery. Did the Foxconn board of directors were insistent on this kind of a defeat device thing, or were they unaware? So it came only from the engineers. We still don't know. Conflict. Check West Indies. 2016, they were the world best, winning the T20 World Cup. But 1,000 days later, 1,500 days later, now they are the worst. So much issues, conflicts. A lot of them, these players had nothing to do with between the cricket boards and all. Windies is multiple countries together. Guyana, we have Jamaica, we have Grenada, I think. There's another country, also right, a couple of countries together. Cricket board issues, payment issues, so many issues has really dented the quality of West Indies cricket. Conflict. The biggest one, the portfolio. This is where the cash comes in, this is where the capital comes in. The inability to handle conflict scenarios in the project and upper level program would have a direct impact on the portfolio. There are so many corporate scandals that happen inside companies, resulting in collapse of thousands of companies during the last 20 or so years in the world. Even in Sri Lanka, take a look. Collapse of Promoter Bank, collapse of Gold Credit Card, collapse of Finance and Guarantee Limited, near collapse of the EAP Finances, even the finance company. How many? Reason is inability of the top end, portfolio level, to identify the management level, identify the conflicts within the company, misunderstanding other issues. When it comes and boils up into the portfolio level, shareholders start leaving, creditors start backing up. That time could be fatal to a company. as happened in the golden credit card case, company case. The case in point, Marissa Mayer, she was once the most highest regarded female corporate personality in the US. Not too long ago, 2012-13, she was the one who brought in Google. She was the youngest engineer in Google. She was the first female to join Google, and she's the one who created Google Images, Google Earth, Google browser page, so much of things. But then her issues of managing, there was an accusation that she micromanages people rather than being the team player, had caused her lose some of her, the internal prestige inside Google. She left Google and joined Yahoo. Initially, she was highly regarded inside Yahoo, but after about 2 years, from 2015, 16, she started having lots of problems with the stakeholders of Yahoo. She left the company. One of the most brilliant minds of America, and whose contribution to Google would always rank as game changers. Even to Yahoo, her contribution helped, but today Yahoo is in the hands of another company, Verizon. She runs her own business now. Just couldn't make it. Various conflicts. You cannot blame her, but you can't ignore her also. Being at the top end of the industry, there was inability to handle issues. Take a look at Sri Lanka cricket. Haven't we been through so many conflicts over the last 4-5 years? Senior issues, the discipline issues, divisions within the team, or the mismanagement of the cricket board, and sometimes, criminality involving allegations of match fixing. So much